All right, let me tell you who I am and why I'm making this channel. I'm not rich, I'm not a financial expert, but I'm better off than almost everyone I know. Why? Because for years, I've been putting 50 quid a month into things that actually hold value. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, tools to start a business. Anything except leaving it rotting in a bank account. My sister has £10,000 sat in the bank, earning 1.8% interest. Inflation's 3.5%. She's losing money every single year and doesn't even know it. This channel exists because 99% of people I know are being robbed blind, and nobody's telling them the truth. Here's a question for you. Do you think it costs more to grow an apple every single year? Does it get more expensive to make a telly every year? No, right? Technology makes things cheaper to produce. Farming gets more efficient. Manufacturing gets better. So why do prices always go up? The answer's simple. Your money is being deliberately destroyed. Let's go back to 1931. Before that year, Britain was on the gold standard. Your pound was backed by actual gold, real stuff. The government guaranteed you could exchange your paper money for gold. It had genuine value. Then, in September 1931, during the Great Depression, Britain abandoned the gold standard. Suddenly, the pound wasn't backed by gold anymore. It was backed by nothing. Trust. A promise from the government. A pound in 1931 could buy you 18 times what it buys today. 18 times. That 100 quid? Worth about £5 in 1931 money. And here's the kicker. The government can now print unlimited money with no real consequences for them. You pay for it through inflation. The 1970s were brutal. Inflation exploded to 25% in 1975. 25% in a single year. They blamed the oil crisis. The real cause? Money printing and bad government policy. If you had 100 quid in 1970, by 1980 it was worth about 50 quid. You lost half your money in 10 years just by keeping it safe in the bank. Think about that. Your grand's savings, your parents' wages, cut in half. The 80s and 90s, they told us inflation was under control. 5 to 10% a year. Sounds small, doesn't it? But it compounds. That 100 quid from 1980, worth about half by 1990. Then 1992. Black Wednesday, September 16th. George Soros bet £10 billion against our currency. The Bank of England spent billions trying to defend the pound. They raised interest rates to 15% in one day. Nothing worked. By evening, the pound crashed. Down 15% against the German mark. Down 25% against the dollar. The Bank of England lost over £3 billion in a single day. Your savings lost value overnight because currency speculators knew what the government wouldn't admit. The pound was overvalued. 2000. The dot-com bubble bursts. Trillions wiped out. 2008. The big one. Financial crisis. Banks collapsed. Northern Rock, RBS. And who paid for it? You did. The government bailed out the banks with something called quantitative easing. Fancy term for print money. They created £200 billion out of thin air between 2009 and 2012. Your savings paid for banker bonuses. The 2010s were the recovery. 2 to 3% inflation every year. Sounds safe, doesn't it? £1,000 in 2010 was worth about 780 quid by 2019. You lost over £200 in purchasing power doing absolutely nothing wrong. Then Brexit happened in 2016. The day after the vote, the pound crashed 15%. More of your wealth evaporated in 24 hours than most people earn in a month. And then came COVID. Free money, they said. Furlough. Business grants. Help for everyone. The Bank of England printed £450 billion during COVID. 450 billion. They printed more money in 6 months than they had in the entire decade after 2008. Here's what really happened. You had £1,000 saved in 2020. The government gave you some furlough money or business support. You spent that money, maybe on home improvements, maybe on food. Big corporations got richer. By 2023, your original £1,000 in savings was worth about 790 quid. You lost over £200. The free money cost you more than you got. Let me explain how this works, because it's not an accident. It's the design. The UK government has over £2 trillion in debt. 2 trillion. They can't pay that back with expensive pounds. So what do? They make pounds worth less through inflation. The debt becomes easier to repay, but your savings get destroyed. It's not a bug. It's the feature. They need 2 to 3% inflation minimum just to keep the system running. You lose, they win. Your bank gives you 1.8% interest. Inflation is 3.5%. You lose 1.7% guaranteed every single year. Over 10 years, your £10,000 becomes £7,000 in real terms. Meanwhile, banks lend your money out at 8 to 25% interest and get rich off you. You're not the customer. You're the product. Now here's where it gets interesting. Since 2018, just 7 years ago, gold is up 270%. Bitcoin is up 600%. Cash in the bank lost 26% in purchasing power. Even if you'd bought £100,000 worth of tins of beans in 2018 and sold them today, you'd have made a profit. Literally anything would have been better than cash. 50 quid a month invested beats 50 quid a month saved every single time. This channel will teach you what banks don't want you to know. No jargon, no BS, just facts. You don't need to be rich to start. You need to stop being brainwashed into poverty. Hit subscribe if you're ready to exit the trap. Next video, we'll prove with real numbers why cash is the worst investment you can make. Let's wake up together.